Hey everybody, so let's go over the classroom tab. This is going to be one of the first things you do once you've created your account and you have connected to a school district and a school. If you have not done that, make sure you go to your account and settings, and that's where you can go in and select your school district. Make sure you select state, then school district, and then find your school that's listed under that school district. So once you finish that, you're going to go in, and I like to personally go in and create my schedule. You don't necessarily have to do that. I know it's might not be school time while you're setting this up, so you can kind of think about that and do this later, and then just create a thing to add your students that you know that you're going to have. You're going to have to put in their first, last name, and their date of birth. This helps us make sure that their information remains private. The annual and reeval dates are here, just in case if you decide. I know some people have school districts that have programs that will have a page that you can look at that displays all that. The program I use does not have a single location where I can look at all my students. So I personally like to use this. The ARIS stage, I have this. This is the curriculum that my school utilizes, and we can always change this to whatever your school uses. But we have a stage 1 for the kids in my adaptive class. They are working on more developmental skills and like learning to attend a task and using a restroom, things like that. And stage 2 is more of that academic piece. So I have students that are strictly stage 1. Then I have some that might be in stage 2, but most of them range either that stage 1 or they're in both. So you'll just add students that way and then click add students. When you're looking at your class, you're going to be looking at the students. You can hit right here where it says classes, and you can either assign them to all of the classes, or you can choose which ones they're going to be in. I know that when you go into a Crosscut setting, some of the kids are not necessarily with you all parts of the day. And this is where you can kind of click check marks to which ones they attend. The reason you're going to want to do this is later on, I'm going to be showing another function where you're going to be able to connect students with IEP goals or goals that are related to that part of the day. And your overview over here is going to tell you what you're going to be tracking during that part of the day, what IEP goals and things. So that's why, a brief little quick history on why. Then right here where it says open, there is another section over here where you can create boards. This is an AAC board, and you'll be able to create these and use them throughout the school day. You can also integrate these boards into your lesson activities. So when you're doing a whole group activity, for some of your students that are verbal, you can use just the regular activity, but you can also add that AAC board, which allows them the ability to respond to your program. Then it also has this information right here where you can invite families. I like this function because once they are connected to the student, they have to go on, create a profile, and add their child, and then connect their child to your classroom. And you will have the capability of sharing your AAC boards that you create for your student and share it with the parent. And it allows the parent to use those buttons at home. And they'll be organized in a way that you utilize them in the classroom, which I think makes it feel it's easier for everybody, because then you have that uniformity at home and at school. Then right here, this is showing you if parents have requested for you to add them, but you might not have necessarily added them. So make sure you kind of look at that. Then the other thing that we recently added, which is right here, the assessments. And this is where you can go in and click on what you're going to be adding, like a beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of year assessments. And you can add in different skills that you're going to be working on and create notes and things. And you can create however many items you need, and you can save it and then print it. So this right here is where you're going to put in their IEP goals. If you look right here real quickly under annual due dates, if you notice this date is green, it's because that date has not, you have not come across that date yet. So it is still a good date. It'll turn yellow once you are within 30 days of that time frame. So that way it lets you know that you have a compliance issue coming up in the next 30 days. The red right here means it's out of compliance and it's past due. Luckily, this is not my real account. All mine in real life are all green, but red just shows you that you have something that you really need to take a look at. The goals right here, this is where you're able to go in and you can create goals for your students. You can add goals right here and it'll ask you the goal. You can do an IEP goal or just a class goal. I know that some districts have like student learning objectives and you might do that for all your students. Then you'd create like a category. You can add if it's an academic, math, reading. And then you put how many times you're going to be collecting that data each week or month or quarter, semester. Then this is where it kind of benefits you to have your schedule already done. So I can say, okay, we're going to be working on writing our name 3 times a week. Then I would click on that because that is when we're going to be working on that goal during that time of the day. And it would generate on my overview, this student has a goal in writing names. So click that data. And then when you create lesson plans, they generate right here. So if you have certain goals that are going to be very specific to this board, you can always add those to this and it'll pop up on the overview as well. Then let's see, right here, it goes into how you're collecting that data. So you're going to input if you have any objectives, the percentage of accuracy, you just select what all you need. I like to add in prompts and notes just so I have the ability to add if it was an independent or if it required a hand over hand. And of course, everybody always likes to have notes. And then you just hit create. Then what I like about it is once you start utilizing it in your classroom and you're using it and you want to check on the data, you just click on the student's IEP goal that you're wanting to look at, and you can review the data and it'll show you all the data points that have been collected. Because this is a dummy one, the points have not been collected, but it worked very well when I was utilizing it this last school year, and it will graph the results for the parents. And I like that you can control the dates. So if you're wanting to focus on a very specific quarter for progress reports, things like that, then you can do that. And then you can also look at the entire year. So let me get back on out of here. And that should be just about everything that you need to know under this first tab. So play around with it and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy.